Have you ever noticed how one tiny detail can set the internet on fire without anyone saying a single word? Today, we're looking at a quiet little moment that fans cannot stop talking about: Zhao Lusi and Wu Lei. A cinema outing rumour, and one surprisingly specific clue that has everyone leaning in: those matching shoes. Welcome back to CNNEWS, where we unpack trending celebrity stories with a calm, respectful lens. No exaggeration, no crossing boundaries, and always keeping things advertiser-friendly. Now, to be crystal clear, what you're about to hear is based on online chatter and public discussion, not an official statement. But the conversation is fascinating, because it shows how modern fandom works. At first glance, wearing the same shoes may seem trivial. In everyday life, it happens constantly. Trends circulate, styles repeat, and coincidence is never rare. Yet when this detail involves two widely recognized public figures like Zhao Lusi and Wu Lei, the meaning subtly changes. Shoes are not merely accessories. They are practical, personal, and often chosen without much intention to be seen. Unlike statement outfits designed for public appearances, footwear usually reflects habit rather than performance. That is precisely why audiences find this detail compelling. It feels unguarded. It feels real. For many viewers, especially those with longer life experience, this is not about luxury or brand value. It is about familiarity. The idea that two individuals might independently gravitate towards the same item suggests overlapping routines, shared tastes, or similar lifestyles. Whether this overlap is professional, coincidental, or personal remains unknown, but the emotional resonance lies in its quietness. There is also a generational element at play. Mature audiences often recognize that meaningful connections are rarely loud. They are built through small consistencies rather than dramatic gestures. A shared preference, noticed unintentionally, can feel more telling than a public declaration. Importantly, this detail invites interpretation without demanding belief. It does not force a conclusion. Instead, it opens a space where viewers can reflect on how meaning is constructed, not only in celebrity culture, but in everyday human relationships. That reflective quality is what gives the same shoes detail its lasting weight. The suggestion of a cinema outing carries emotional weight far beyond the act itself. Going to the movies is one of the most ordinary, universal experiences. That ordinariness is precisely why it resonates so strongly when associated with public figures. A cinema is not a stage. It is a shared, quiet space where attention is directed outward, not towards oneself. For audiences, the idea that two well-known individuals might choose such a setting evokes a sense of normalcy that fame often strips away. It humanizes them. For older viewers in particular, the symbolism of a cinema moment is gentle and familiar. It recalls a time when connection was measured not by visibility, but by presence, sitting side by side, sharing silence, reacting to the same story. These are understated experiences that often speak louder than words. Even when framed as rumour, the narrative avoids confrontation or scandal. There is no suggestion of excess, secrecy, or provocation. Instead, it presents a possibility rooted in calm companionship. That is why it feels emotionally safe to engage with. Crucially, the power of this story lies not in whether it is true, but in what it represents. It reflects a collective longing for sincerity in a world saturated with performance. The cinema rumour invites audiences to imagine connection without spectacle, and that imagination, once sparked, is difficult to ignore. Body language has become one of the most discussed yet misunderstood elements of modern celebrity storytelling. A glance, a smile, or a shared laugh is often elevated into perceived meaning. Yet interpretation says as much about the observer as it does about the subject. When viewers analyze the reported body language between Zhao Lusi and Wu Lei, what they are often responding to is not evidence, but atmosphere. Calm proximity, natural pacing, and relaxed conversation create a visual impression of ease. Ease, in turn, is frequently associated with trust. For a more mature audience, this sense of ease carries emotional significance. With experience comes the understanding that true comfort between people cannot be rehearsed. It emerges quietly, without self-consciousness. Whether that comfort reflects friendship, professional familiarity, or something else entirely is impossible to determine, but its presence alone feels meaningful. It is also worth noting that respectful storytelling avoids turning body language into proof. Instead, it treats it as a mirror, reflecting how audiences project their own experiences, hopes, and memories onto what they see. In this way, body language becomes less about decoding a relationship and more about understanding why certain images move us. The response is emotional, not factual. And recognizing that distinction allows the conversation to remain thoughtful rather than intrusive. The speed at which this story circulates reveals something important about contemporary media consumption. It is not driven by outrage or conflict, but by emotional accessibility. This narrative is light, open-ended, and non-confrontational. It does not demand allegiance or provoke division. Instead, it invites quiet curiosity. That makes it easy to share, easy to discuss, and easy to revisit. For audiences aged 35 to 75, the appeal lies in restraint. The story does not shout, it whispers. In an environment dominated by noise, subtlety stands out. Additionally, the lack of official confirmation plays a crucial role. Silence creates space, and space invites imagination. When nothing is clarified, viewers are free to interpret without fear of contradiction. This openness fuels discussion while avoiding direct controversy. Most importantly, the story reflects a shift in how people wish to engage with public figures. There is growing appreciation for privacy, dignity, and emotional balance. Stories that align with these values are more likely to be embraced, not challenged. To keep this narrative constructive and emotionally enriching, it is essential to expand beyond speculation and repetition. One approach is to frame the discussion around broader human themes rather than personal conclusions. For instance, the story can evolve into a reflection on shared tastes and coincidence in modern life. How often do people discover unexpected similarities with others, and why do those moments feel meaningful? Another direction is to explore cinema as a cultural space, a place where people reconnect with stories, emotions, and each other. This shifts focus from who to why, encouraging a richer dialogue. Finally, there is value in highlighting respectful fandom. Audiences can be reminded that admiration does not require intrusion, and curiosity does not require certainty. By promoting balance and empathy, the story becomes not just entertaining, but quietly instructive. In doing so, the narrative remains fresh, emotionally layered, and aligned with a more thoughtful global audience, one that values reflection as much as revelation. So, what do you think? Is the same shoes moment simply two stars sharing a fashionable taste, perhaps influenced by the same trends and circles? Or is it one of those quietly meaningful coincidences that makes people wonder? Whatever the truth may be, let's keep the conversation kind, balanced, and respectful. If you enjoyed this calm, thoughtful breakdown, please subscribe to CNNEWS. Give this video a like and share your view in the comments, politely, as always. Thank you for watching, and please stay with CNNEWS for your next update.